All right, it's Friday, and it's the Raptors Roundtable. I'm with people who are much smarter than me and know the product a lot more than I do. Starting off with Justin Pooney and Jelani Goodridge-Reed, the J Unit.
Yes.
Next to me, Noor Zainab. So let's start, guys. With the Raptors, I mean, they're the center of the universe in the NBA right now. Center of the universe in Toronto. Everyone wants to know, what are they going to do? Are they going to be buyers? Are they going to be sellers? Before we get into all that stuff, trades and whatnot, from a fan's perspective, how does it feel watching the team go through this right now?
We're making the headlines for the wrong news right now. Like, we are begging the American media to be like, put the Raptors on blast, like, talk about us, make us part of the headlines. And this is like the worst kind of headline you can make as a Raptor fan, because you're right now being, every team out there is salivating over you. They want to pick your pieces up. You're kind of pretty much a farm right now for other teams to be like, we want to grab you. But it sucks because as Raptor fans, we've been here talking about how great our players are. And now they're being recognized for people to bring onto their teams. Not when they were playing for us to be like, oh, these are actual great players. Scotty Barnes is great, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, but because now they want to bring them on, they're like, actually, that's a really good guy out there. Let's go grab him. So I think in that perspective, it's pretty annoying. It sucks to watch the team lose. It's not good for morale whatsoever, but it could be the kickstart that this new era needs.
As a fan, when you're in this position, you also tend to overvalue players. I don't want to see that guy go. He's good, but a couple months ago we were talking about this guy's got to go. For the Raptors, if they do decide to sell, which most likely I think will happen, have they built up enough, collateral in the bank in terms of success over the past decade where the fans will accept the tank?
I don't know, because a lot of fans are spoiled now, right? A lot of fans have seen what's happened last decade. We've been one of the more, strong franchises in terms of winning,
the championship,
in terms of the playoff runs and stuff like that. So if you're asking Raptors fans, do you want to see a couple years where it's going to be down years, right? They're going to be like, no, what is this? What? I've never seen this before. Actually, it was worse than this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh
but
God.
So I say be patient, right? I want a retool. I want a restructure of this team, because I don't think this is a team that could play alongside other contenders in the Eastern Conference. It's not going to happen. All right. So I say start from square one, right? Don't just rebuild. Don't just like say, okay, you know what? We're going to suck for a long time. No. You have an opportunity here with this deadline to get better, right, moving forward. So I think if you're asking Raptors fans specifically, do they want this? Of course not. You don't want to lose games left and right, right? Yeah. But they got to be patient, because unless you want to be average or below average for a while, right?
Which is the worst place in sports.
Like, do you want to be here, or do you want to make something happen?
And a lot has to do with this road trip, and it seems like it's going to determine whether or not they're going to buy or sell, which is kind of strange to me. I think they're leaving it a bit too late. And they're in a position where they're 2-3 on this road trip. It's like, I don't even know how the saying goes, but they're good enough not to lose every game, but bad enough not to win every game. They're in a horrible position that way.
Exactly.
And I find it hard to believe that Masai would actually leave it to a road trip to determine whether or not they're going to be buyers or sellers.
I think it was all predetermined before this road trip even started that they were going to just, sell off assets. Because, as you mentioned, the Raptors are in the worst position in all of sports, not just the NBA. They're stuck in mediocrity. Right? They're stuck in the middle. They're stuck in the middle, right? Because they're not good enough to make a run in the playoffs or to be a contender, and they're not bad enough to get a top draft pick, right? So they're stuck in the middle. That's why you have to look at this roster, analyze the fact, look, we have some good pieces, but they're not those pieces to build around, other than Scotty Barnes, in my personal opinion. That's why I think you're hearing all this stuff coming out this week ahead of the deadline, because they're getting ready to sell off all these assets, because they see the writing on the wall that this team they had a nice year last year, surprising year last year, but what we're seeing over the last 2 to 3 years, right? The Tampa year, bad. Last year was really good, but this year it's going very bad. So maybe the writing on the wall, this roster wasn't as good as.
But does that tell you that might be something in the locker room? Because it's still the same squad as last year, right? You have the same guys, same core, finished 5th in the East, and you played against Philly in the playoffs. Lost 6, whatever, it makes sense. But like, this is still the same guys. I think the reason why it's hard for fans to grasp at what's happening is because we saw the same exact thing happen last year. And prior to that, we were like, you know what, this is not that team. They're going to be at the playing level, see what happens. They end up finishing 5th in the East. So they did did beyond what people expect them to do, right?
But
But then that's like in this year, you've got the same roster, same coaching, same everything. You're at home. So what's not clicking? And that, to me, I think is going to be something in the locker room that's trickling on the court. Might be egos, might be people wanting their paydays, might be guys like Scotty who are supposed to be stars, right? So you see someone like Scotty come in. He's the profound star, 4th in the draft pick. Raptors aren't used to that lifestyle to have someone who's already molded into something to come in. He gets put next to guys like Freddie, nice guys like Pascal, who had to work hard their entire life to be where they are right now. Freddie, famous for bet on yourself. So I can see that those like temperaments, those egos having a factor there. We've heard of people not getting along in the locker room, don't really have a leader there as well to be able to put the guys into gear and have them, understand that it's all about winning, not about your roles, not about your pay. It's about being a team together. So I think that's my confusion comes from, because I'm like, I've seen the same guys be on the court last year and win. So why are they losing this year and not defending like they were last year?
Yeah, and I think having a couple guys who really want to get paid big, changes the dynamic in that change room. You were mentioning how, they're not bad enough to tank, Jelani. So to me, that tells me when it comes to selling and rebuild, maybe it doesn't have to be a full, complete rebuild. Maybe it's just a couple of seasons. Maybe it's one season.
Right.
Because the pieces are clearly there. It just, who are they going to pay? Who are they going to keep?
Yeah, no, that's the thing right now. That's what the Raptors need to figure out. And I think you're looking at probably 2 years. Okay, 2 years
Which
where
I think is a reasonable
and that's fine
rebuild.
because you look across the NBA, there are so many teams that are still rebuilding as we speak, and they've been
Orlando,
rebuilding for the
Detroit,
past decade.
Charlotte.
That's a horrible
Right?
spot.
Remember,
you know who's in that spot for a long time? The Toronto Maple Leafs.
That's
That
right.
it was horrible.
It
Yeah,
was bad.
so like when you're talking about so many teams that have been struggling, like for example, Sacramento, they've been so bad. Okay, the last time they were good, Desperate Housewives was the #1 show on television, right? So
Ooh,
if you're looking at the Raptors right now, 2 years, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna tell me the Raptors are actually gonna become a player in the Eastern Conference moving forward, and if that means you gotta let go of some dudes. We've seen the ceiling. We've met it. Okay. We got the ring. Thank you very much. Okay. But now we understand. The Raptors, to me, not even a play-in team at this point. The way we've been playing, so much inconsistency has been there. I say you try, because there's a high chance that we get a top pick. You never know. You never know. A pick that you get in the lottery could pan out, right? Could go along with Scotty Barnes. Could help, a new era in Toronto. And I get it. Masai wants a championship. He wants to win and stuff like that. But if it requires a year or two where you retool, where you get a bench for once, you do it.
I think one thing people are forgetting, Justin, is Scotty Barnes needs to develop still.
Yeah.
Right? So how important is his development into this Raptors rebuild if they decide to keep him, which it'd be crazy if Masai let him go.
It's absolutely critical that because all reports are together, they want to build around Scotty Barnes, right? Perfect. Give him the ball, and I'm a big proponent of sink or swim. Throw him in the deep end, see if he can sink or swim, if he can carry the load, right? See what you got with a max. He's got all the resources around him, built around him. What do you have in him? And I think the Toronto Raptors really need to focus on that, because right now, you got Fred VanVleet, who wants to get paid 30 to 35 million bucks a year. You have Gary Trent, who wants to get 25 million plus. You have Pascal Siakam, who is coming up to become a supermax eligible player, right? He's going to want to get that type of money too. So how does a guy like Scotty Barnes develop to his full potential when he's being surrounded by guys that want to get paid and guys that are in the primes of their career that want to win games, right? How do you balance that? And I think you're seeing the struggle with that. And like you guys mentioned before, people are getting paid. People want to have this and this and that. And that's why you're seeing that clash go on. So build around Scotty Barnes, build around players that are around the same age, and see a new young core get built and grow together.
Nora, how does Nick Nurse fit into a rebuild?
I think Nick Nurse is the guy. No matter what you think of him in terms of his usage with his teams, no matter what he's done with his lineups and stuff, everything, I think the Masai's trust in him has proven to us that Nick Nurse is that guy. His tenure with the Raptors so far, leading them to the playoffs and leading them into the finals, making that box and one play that you haven't seen ever in NBA, playoffs take place. He being that guy, plus because of Masai's a very creative guy, I want to say. But I think Nick really fits that characteristic that Masai has, because Nick is willing to do anything that's going to be outside the box. He will try whatever works. So if you want to give him now a new team, clean palette, and be like, give me something. That's his best dream. He's gonna like wake up with a smile on his face every single day to
But
be
what
like,
if Nick Nurse comes back and says, I don't want to tank. I don't want to lose. I'm gonna win
That
now."
depends on
'Cause
what
we
he
can see
wants, yeah.
based on these games, he does not trust his bench.
No.
He runs his starters into the ground because he wants to win every game. If you're Masai and you want your team to tank, that might not be the coach that is going to get that done for you.
It depends. I think that's why we talked about this earlier too, and we said it depends on what Nick Nurse wants. If he wants to go somewhere, because the teams are going to line up for Nick Nurse, they're going to want to bring him on. They know who he is. They understand the value that he brings to a team. So if it's going to entirely depend on Nick Nurse, does he want to be a part of something now that's going to be his team? So he gets to decide who gets the rules, what their development's going to look like, where he thinks they will succeed the most in, or if he wants to go be a part of something that's already been established, they're going to go be contenders, and now they want to have a coach there who has the resume to lead a team to the finals. It's going to entirely depend on Nick Nurse and who's going to pay him more, right? He's going to want to make sure that those checks are coming in. So in that way, he might want to go and let go of that Canadian tax bracket and check out some American ones, but I don't know.
Do you think Nick Nurse would be a roadblock on the road to a rebuild for Toronto?
I don't think so. I don't think a roadblock. I think you, like Noor said, you try to keep a Nick Nurse in the door, and we'll see. Like, Nick wouldn't want to go. No coach wants to really go through a rebuild. If you ask them, they don't want to. But I think his relationship with Masai Ujiri, Masai believes in him, right? And I think Nick believes in Masai's plan as well. So it's a good connection there. And I say this all the time. It is tough to find a quality head coach in this league. Again, there's so many teams that are still searching for that dude and they can't find him. Nick Nurse is a top 5 coach in the NBA right now. And you have talked about it, how his relationship with Masai in terms of front office and coach is top in the league. So you don't let go of that, right? And the only way I see a rebuild really being successful or a retool really being successful is with Nick Nurse. And I get it. This year he has not been, up to the level that we've expected of him. Okay, the defense has not been playing well and stuff like that. But I think he can, again, trust, huge thing. But I think he can develop his dudes when, asked of, So we'll see.
Okay, let's get to the trade. So I asked you guys to put together some trades and tell me if you're a seller or a buyer. Clearly, based on this past conversation we just had, everyone wants to sell. So I'm not going to tell you who put together this trade. Stop trying to look to the paper here, Justin.
I'm not.
And I want some instant reaction, and I want you to also guess who put this trade together. I'm going to start with this one. Raptors and the Sacramento Kings. The Raptors send Pascal Siakam to the Kings for Harrison Barnes, Davion Mitchell, Keegan Murray, and a slew of draft picks, 3 first-rounders, and a second-rounder via the Dallas Mavericks. Noor, who put together this trade?
Your beloved Justin Pooney.
Justin Pooney is correct.
Who else would
Thoughts on the
send
trade?
Pascal Siakam out like that?
Thoughts on
Nobody
the trade?
else.
Thoughts on sending Siakam to the Kings?
I think Kings is a very good spot because they have a bunch of young guys. We've seen how well they've done this year. They made that infamous trade happen between Tyrese Haliburton and DeMontis Sabonis, and they are going. It worked out for both teams. They're both playing super, super well. And the Kings have the assets that the Raptors can build around. They have young guys. They have offensive guys, and the Raptors kind of have the same kind of tools that we have right now in terms of defense, but the Kings have the offense. The Kings can bring you that shooting. Only thing is, you're shipping off Pascal Siakam, Justin. You're going to ship off Pascal Siakam. I know you're getting something great back, and I can make the argument of letting Pascal go as well because he's 29, right? He's playing great right now. Is at the peak of his career. He's probably going to have 3-4 more years to go at this point. But if you're really going to be retooling, if you want to bring in new guys, how does Pascal Siakam fit your timeline with those guys? That's my main question because there's no doubt he's a great player. He's going to be detrimental to every offense that's out there as well as defense because he's a two-way player. But how does he fit your timeline? I think Jelani's right though. If you want to build something to win in the next 4 or 5 years and go contend, you got to keep Pascal. But if you think you can get something ginormous back, like a Donovan Mitchell thing, a Rudy Gobert kind of deal, and we've seen that the league right now is pretty big on having those hauls, then it makes sense to maybe say goodbye.
I kind of like this deal.
Say goodbye.
Boss. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even think about the Kings because the Kings they are a contender right now. They're in the West, so you never know. They might want to pair Siakam with Sabonis up front, and then you still have your Fox over there.
Actually.
So you never know. And then with this deal, you're getting Harrison Barnes, shout out North Carolina Tar Heels Nation, but you get Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell is a defensive force.
Yes.
He could fit perfectly with the Toronto Raptors.
He can fly too.
And Nick Nurse, I think, would love him.
Yes.
And then you're talking about Keegan Murray.
Bro,
Keegan Murray, watch this guy at college. Offensive juggernaut. That's why he was considered to be one of the best prospects in the draft coming out. He has, some raw talent, but that talent, we've seen it there, okay? And he's helped the Kings. So you never know. If that could be a young piece, which they want young assets.
Yeah.
You never know. I kind of like that deal.
And the Kings are going to be super fast. Like, imagine with Pascal next to Darren Fox. My eyeballs are not going to be able to catch up. That's crazy.
Plus, you get a bunch of
And
picks.
the picks.
Yeah,
Yeah, the picks
and
are
the picks, the
fantastic.
picks.
All right, to the next one. Toronto Raptors and the Orlando Magic. The deal here, Fred VanVleet heads over to the Magic for Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba, Jalen Suggs, also a 2023 first-round pick, which is the Chicago Bulls. Jelani, thoughts on the trade? Who put the trade together?
Nor put the trade together.
Thanks, Jelani.
Yeah.
Clearly, because I asked you. I didn't It's elimination. Who put it together? Our producer Stevie put it together.
Yeah, so
Okay, Nor put that together.
Isaac, he hasn't played in a minute. He just got back into the groove of things. Mo Bamba would probably be a nice fit. Why? Because we've been needing those bigs. The depth at center, the power forward, just the front court, right?
I'm giving you a point guard, too.
Yeah, it's been tough. It's been tough. So you get yourself a center, and then in terms of the guard spot, right? You obviously ship out Fred VanVleet. You get a cheaper guy in terms of Suggs. Suggs
Raptor
was the guys that
fans get their wish. They get
Hey.
Jalen
He
Suggs.
hasn't been playing well this year in terms of offense, but his defense is up. So if you
right.
want to look at the defense part of Fred's
So
game,
and the other thing with that is the Magic have so many guards,
Yeah, that's
so
exactly
many. So
it. Absolutely.
he's in that right now, and he's trying to find his way. So maybe you bring him to Toronto and stuff like that. But personally, I wouldn't do it.
what?
Personally, I wouldn't do it.
Oh.
I would not ship him out.
But didn't
because
Scotty
also,
and Suggs play together in high school too?
yes, they did. So there is a connection
There's
there.
a
But
connection,
also,
there's
I don't
chemistry.
even think Fred would want to go to Orlando because you would have to talk to him. Where do you want to fall? You paid your dues here. You won the championship.
They owe it to
here.
him. They owe it to
I
him.
don't think that they would want to ship him off. Look, Orlando's.
But they're playing
They're
well,
not
right?
good. They're not good, but they have good talent, good young talent. But I don't know if Fred wants to do that right now. I think he would rather go to a contending team and be a guy, that could help win a championship. So I don't know about Orlando, but I see what you're trying to do with that. You get yourself a point guard in the door to replace a Fred, and you get yourself a Mo Bamba. Isaac would be, just another win.
With your two positions that you're lacking at right now are the point guard position and the center position.
Yeah, we've been talking about it all the
I feel
time.
both, but that one.
You know, the NBA, it's so interesting. NBA is small ball.
Yeah.
The two most dominant guys in the game are centers, and Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic.
That's true.
All right, to the next one. Obviously,
Is this Justin
don't-
or Nord?
this is Jelani. Jelani.
You're so
Jelani
funny,
put this together. So, Toronto Raptors and the New York Knicks. The Knicks get OG Anunoby for Derrick Rose, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, and 3 protected picks. Justin, thoughts?
I do it just for the 3 picks. I think, look, Derrick Rose is, he is what he is. He's not playing in New York. Cam Reddish has been tossed around a whole bunch in this league. He's pretty much done, I think. And Obi Toppin,
Young
It's
guy,
not that
but
good.
potential,
Yeah, but
look,
I mean,
I would do it because you get 3 first-round picks and you can parlay that into whether drafting young players or bringing in an established player or something like that. I would do it because I don't think OG Anunoby is worth 3 first-round picks. He's not, right? The fact is this, the NBA and the market value of players has increased so much to the point where it's almost laughable of how much people are worth now,
And if
right?
other teams are willing to pay,
Exactly.
that's how
And
much you
I'm not blaming the Raptors or anything like that for taking that in. I'm just saying that's what the market dictates and that's what's out there. I would take it just for the picks, right? Those picks are valuable assets. You're seeing that right now with Los Angeles Lakers who are dying so hard not to trade those last 2 first-round picks they have that are like 5 years down the road. I would do this trade because it's clear OG doesn't want to be in Toronto.
Last one. I want to talk about this trade that I found on Twitter. Someone put together this blockbuster trade between 3 teams. So it involves the Suns, the Raptors, and the Lakers. The Suns get Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby. Coming back to the Raps from the Lakers, you get Russell Westbrook plus a ton of picks. To the Lakers, Chris Paul, Thad Young, and Jay Crowder.
No.
Do it.
No.
Do it. I want to see Russell Westbrook in Toronto.
You want us to fail
I
even
need
more?
Russell
We're
Westbrook
already
in Toronto.
losing. You need to have Westbrook on the squad to lose.
You get
It's
1,
fine.
2, 3, 4, 5 picks. And
First rounders?
4 of those are first
in
rounders.
my personal
Yes.
opinion,
Yes.
in my personal opinion, you do it.
Yes.
First of all, you get Russell Westbrook. Look, you're not going to win a championship anyway.
He's
You're not
gone
gonna-
after the year
You're
anyway.
not going to win a championship anyway. but you bring in the attention. You get a superstar,
lot.
right?
Exactly.
What superstar is in Toronto right now? Okay,
No one.
So you bring
You want
you
Westbrook as your superstar?
you get butts in
Coming
the
off
seat.
the
Only
bench?
played 30 games and he's gone.
Look, people would be definitely they would change the channel from This Is Us. I know the show ended, but they would change the channel and they would go to Sportsnet and actually watch some Raptors games because of that entertainment factor.
I would go to games to watch
Are you
Russell
guys
Westbrook.
enjoying
And then-
this trade deadline? Because I'm not.
I'm
okay?
not either.
This is not
but
fun.
then look at this though. Look at all the picks you're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
From both Lakers
Oh.
and the Suns. I've been saying retool. You try to get more youth in the door here. We understand that there's a ceiling here.
Cap
Why not?
flexibility.
And also you
You
could
guys are
flip.
one person.
No,
That's pretty fun.
we are the J.
We are smart. We are smart
Well, you know what?
individuals.
You get Westbrook for half a season. He's
right.
off the books at the end of the year. Probably going to average 30 plus and start as many minutes as he
And it'd be
possibly
fun.
can.
It would be
Nick
it
Nurse
would
would
be a
love it.
fun
He could
thing.
try. He could. Russell Westbrook
I know.
play 48
And he
minutes.
would love to play that much. And
Exactly.
also with those picks, real quick, you could flip them.
Exactly.
You can always flip them for
Yes.
some key parts on that bench that
No,
is
he's not having it.
is like in the
Yes.
basement right now.
Open your guys' mind.
So I-
See the future.
I would do it.
I have third person vision
I would
right
do
now,
it.
and I'm telling you, it's not going to be as great as you think it is. Because those picks sound great, right? But it's a matter of
I know there's a lot of
who's
protected and stuff.
Tim's,
Yeah.
protection, what
Yeah.
year they're going to be falling out, what number they will be at, is a
You
bunch
can
of things along those.
trade 'em away.
Plus, Justin. Plus, you're gonna let go of OG Anunoby
Right.
in the wake of finding another OG Anunoby with the 5 picks you have that might not even work out. So, would you? My thing is, trade whoever. There's 3 guys that should not be touched, though. Scotty Barnes, Precious Achua, and OG Anunoby. Because those are 3 young guys that fit your
Fair,
system
fair.
right now.
OG doesn't
If
wanna
you
be
want to
here, though.
retool, but if he wants to stay, you keep him. Why don't you let him go? OG, dude,
I
if
think
I'm-
it's because his trade value has never been higher.
Makes sense, but you know why? It's because he fits. He's not your average role player. He's one kind of guy that fits the system because he's a 3-and-D guy. Every team needs a
Yeah,
defender.
we would miss
to
it.
throw.
I know for a fact we're gonna miss him.
You're
You know,
gonna
on the
spend the next
defensive
10
end.
years
but,
looking for him.
But I've never seen a haul,
Justin.
you know, or like his value be this high at this point. So I would definitely consider. Okay, and I think the Lakers want to do it. They get back Chris Paul. And who else is coming in?
Thad Young,
Thad Young and Jake Crowder.
Jake Crowder.
And then the Suns
This
get
makes
Fred
the
and
Suns
OG.
incredible. Fred
So,
and OG.
I think it
With
works.
Devin Booker?
I think it works.
That's it. That's
OG
it. And
Anunoby,
Johnson?
lock your doors, please. Don't let
If
them inside.
DeAndre Ayton can figure out how to play, then they'd be all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Like sands through the hourglass. These are the days of our Raptors live. The Raptors in Houston tonight. Another match on this road trip. What's going to happen? Will they sell? Will they buy? We won't know. We'll probably have another chat next week about what they're going to do.